Hi everyone, my name is Paul, and our first challenge will be reading through the book of Luke. And I'm here actually to give a quick overview of Luke, just to give you some things to think about as you're going through the book of Luke. And so what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the basics of Luke, the purpose of Luke, the main themes of Luke, and then just a general outline of the book of Luke. And so just to go through some basics, it's written by Luke, who is a doctor by trade, and he's a traveling companion and a ministry companion of Paul. It's actually part of a unified 2-volume work. So Luke is really part 1. So after the challenge is over, you should really start reading the book of Acts, which is part 2 of this 2-volume work. It's a letter so inasmuch as many have undertaken to compile a narrative of the things that have been accomplished among us, just as those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses and ministers of the word have delivered them to us, it seemed good to me also, having followed all things closely for some time past, to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, that you may have certainty concerning the things you have been taught. And that's what I wanted to kind of emphasize when we talk about the purpose of Luke, is the fact that that you can have certainty when it comes to the account of what Luke is talking about. That the life that Jesus led, his ultimate death and his resurrection, his physical resurrection, was something that actually happened in history. And so the purpose is to share an eyewitness accounts and a record of what occurred, and to give a narrative and a chronology of Christ's birth, life, death, and ultimate resurrection. And just to speak about the main themes of Luke, there are many, but I would say there are 3 main themes. The first being that Jesus is the promised one of God, prophesied in the Old Testament, and he's ultimately the fulfillment of all these prophecies. And the fulfillment of all these prophecies is shown again through his life, his death, and his ultimate resurrection. The gospel is for all. That's the second main theme of Luke. Whether you're Jew or Gentile, it's the concept of the upside down kingdom. It's the Christianity and the ministry of Jesus is really for everybody. It's not just for the elite or the pious or what would be considered the religious leaders of the day. It's really for everyone, and that would be the second main theme. And the third is what I kind of spoke to before, which is the concept that there is a truthfulness to Christianity and to Jesus. And he's trying to emphasize the fact that this was an actual historical account of somebody who lived in history. So those are the 3 main themes of Luke. And let's go through a general outline of Luke. So we talked about the prologue, which was chapter 1, how and why he wrote this book. The infancy narrative in chapter 1 and 2, which discusses and parallels and mirrors the births of Jesus and the birth of John the Baptist. The preparation for the ministry of Jesus in chapter 3 and 4. Jesus is baptized, and Luke discusses his genealogy just again to show the fulfillment of all these prophecies, the Old Testament prophecies. And Jesus and his ministry begins in Galilee. The ministry of Jesus in Galilee, chapter 4 through 9, bringing good news to those who are poor, the lost, those of lower socioeconomic status. That is what the book of Luke and what Jesus is talking about over and over again. The fact that God's kingdom is good news for everyone, not just for those that would be considered the elite of our day. You see healing, miracles, and Jesus loving the outcast and the misfits, such as tax collectors and prostitutes. Again, the concept of the upside down kingdom. The journey to Jerusalem, chapter 9 through 19. Teachings and parables, you'll see again miracles of those he encountered on the road to Jerusalem. He speaks of money, loving the poor, healing, and who he is. He talks about all these things. And throughout the book of Luke, and especially in this section, you'll see the religious leaders of the day, the Pharisees and the scribes, who are just grumbling and disgruntled at what Jesus is doing. And then the ministry of Jesus in Jerusalem, chapter 19 through 21, the arrival of Jesus in Jerusalem, which we celebrate with Palm Sunday. And this is where you see the famous scene of Jesus overturning the tables in the temple. the suffering and death of Jesus in chapter 22 through 23, where you see the Passover meal and Jesus washing the feet of his disciples, the trial of Jesus, Jesus being put on the death and ultimately dying on the cross. The resurrection of Jesus in chapter 24, the empty tomb and the resurrection of Jesus. Again, Luke is emphasizing the truth of what eyewitness disciples and people had actually saw when he was taken off the cross and put into the tomb and ultimately resurrected from the dead. Jesus also talks of the coming of the Holy Spirit, which directly connects to the second part, which is the book of Acts as well. So that's a broad overview of Luke, just introducing you to the book. We really hope that you'll enjoy reading the book of Luke and not only enjoying reading the account, a historical account of Jesus, but finding meaning and value in the truth of the gospel and what you believe. And we really hope that this will be an enriching time for you and a time for you to draw closer to God as well.